Let the vibe begin. Overt Radio, spinning hits to win.
Okay, good morning Lagos. Welcome back again. It is 16 minutes gone past the hour of 9 o'clock. This is Overt Radio. This is the Wednesday edition of Overt Radio Breakfast Show. This breakfast show is being sponsored by Life Back Pharmacy and Stores Limited, marketers of Ogama QS Softgel Anti-Malaria. Life Back Pharmacy and Stores Limited, marketers of Ogama QS Soft Gel Anti-Malaria, is the sponsor for this breakfast show, and we appreciate our sponsor this morning. Okay, it is Wednesday, the 22nd day of July 2026, and this is the political update segment between now and the hour of maybe 9:45. Within the next 25-30 minutes, I will be talking about something very maybe it's important, but I see it as something that is important, despite the fact that there's no, so much noise about it at the moment. But it really made noise, ahead of the 2023 general elections, particularly the presidential election. Okay, now you can stream. We are currently streaming on our YouTube platform, Overt Radio Live. We are streaming at the moment. You can also watch past of these programs and any other program that live show, our interview, talk shows here on Overt Radio. You can go to our various social media platforms on X, Overt Radio Live, on Instagram, Overt News, on TikTok, overt.radio.lagos. That is where you'll be able to watch all our past programs. So interact with our content, with our videos, interact with our program flyers, so that you can help us push in social media. So, is Nigeria's development based on religion or competence? Is Nigeria's development, is it based on religion or on competence? That is what I'll be talking about this morning. And how did that topic come about? Let me read the story. Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State has expressed confidence that Nigeria will eventually elect a president and vice president on a Christian ticket, insisting that the country's constitution does not require religious balancing in political appointments or electoral tickets. Sule stated this on Tuesday during an appearance on Channels Television's Politics Today, while responding to criticism by the Nigeria Democratic Congress NDC vice presidential candidate Rabiu Kwankwaso over issue of power rotation. The governor dismissed the criticism as a normal feature of opposition politics. He said, and I quote, "I think it is necessary for Senator Kwankwaso, whom I respect a lot, to say that because he is opposition, he cannot say anything good. It is expected of him to say that." Sule argued that the 1999 Constitution focuses on inclusiveness and federal character rather than religion. According to him, Sections 14, subsection 3 and 15 of the Constitution address equitable representation and ethnicity, but make no provision for religious balancing. He said again, there is no place where it talks about religion. Section 14 didn't talk about religion. Section 15 did not talk about religion. The governor cited the victories of President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima in 2023, as well as late MKO Abiola and Babagana Kingibe's presidential ticket in 1993 as examples of successful Muslim tickets. You can see both elections have been clear that the Muslim ticket has won. I pray that one day Nigeria will have a Christian ticket and it will win. That's what I pray to see, Sule said. He, however, stressed that His decision to retain Emmanuel Akabe, a Christian, as deputy governor was based on competence rather than religion. You've said it all. You've said it all, man. All right, so this is what I'll be talking about this morning. So let me go down memory lane. In 1999, when we started uninterrupted democracy, the president as at that time, or the presidential candidate as at that time, was former President Olusegun Obasanjo, and his running mate was Atiku Abubakar, Christian Muslim. So after that tenure ended, we were ushered into another tenure in 2007, and the people that were in charge was late Musa Yar'Adua and his running mate Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, Muslim Christian ticket. A short while, I think 2 years, into that administration, we lost the president Musa Yar'Adua, and the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan took over. Also, after taking over, he had a vice president that is Namadi Sambo, a Muslim Christian Muslim ticket. They both contested and won, but they lost in 2015. And in 2015, retired General Muhammadu Buhari, contested in the 2015 general election, which is a presidential election. He contested along with Professor Yemi Oshibanjo, a Christian, that is a Muslim Christian ticket. And they ruled the country for 8 solid years. And in 2023, the Jagaban, the APC, on the platform of the All Progressive Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has had his running mate, Senator Kashim Shettima, a former governor of Borno State, a senator that is a Muslim ticket. Now, the reason why I deliberately mentioned these past leaders is that it doesn't really matter. It's not necessary who a president, the religious believe that the religious belief of the president or the vice president. Religion doesn't matter. Religion, a person from a Christian or a Muslim who is a president and chooses another religion as a vice president cannot guarantee development in the country, which the governor has stated. Which the governor has stated. I didn't even read it. I didn't even read the last paragraph before coming up with that topic, because he had actually, answered that it is competence that matters. Whether you are a Christian, a Muslim, whether you are a traditionalist, it doesn't matter. What matters is what you have upstairs. It is the competence that matters when it comes to leadership. And I mentioned all these past leaders and the current one so as to tell you how we started in 1999, how we have been, and where we are at the moment. This is 27 years of uninterrupted democracy in Nigeria. 27 years, and in that 27 years, we've had 5 leaders that has mounted the stage, the podium of leadership in the country. And my question to our listeners and those that are watching via YouTube is that what is the level of development that has Nigeria developed at all? Have we moved from point A to point B, B to C, C to D, or we are still rigmaroling, perambulating, 5 step forward, 4 step backward? When Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when the APC put up a Muslim ticket in 2022 to 2023, some interest groups rose up, particularly from the Christendom, rose up condemning the move. That why would the APC present a Muslim ticket? I think that time I was part of them too. I was emotional. I can't deny that. I was emotional. But at the end, I just looked at it at this now. What a politician will use any strategy. He will deploy any strategy to win election. The most important thing is getting there. How you got there is not his business. The most important thing is getting there. And Tinubu got there deliberately, picking a Muslim who is a northerner as his vice. And I think as at that time, Kashim Shettima was maybe one of the populous political figure in the north, in the APC. So have it at the back of your mind that the choice of candidate, the choice of a presidential candidate or a deputy governor in the state, in the subnational, the politician does not care if there will be reactions or not. Of course there will be reactions. The most important thing that he cares about is getting there. And he will use every means, legitimately. He will use every strategy to make sure that he's elected. That is that. The second thing is, it is not whether you are a Muslim and you have a vice president as a Muslim, or whether you are a governorship candidate and you have a Muslim, whether you are a Christian governorship candidate and you have a Christian governorship, deputy governorship, your running mate, or you're a Muslim and you have your running mate as a Muslim. It doesn't matter. There are countries in this world that are neither, they are leaders in other parts of the world that are neither Muslims or Christians, but they are doing well in their country. In Singapore, you can't tell if the leader of the Singaporean country, whether the leader of Singapore is a Muslim or a Christian or a Buddhist or Hinduism. In China, Xi Jinping, you can't tell his religion. China is one of the second largest economy in the world. In Japan, where electronics, the world hub in electronic manufacturing. In Japan, you can't tell if the president or the prime minister of Japan, whatever system they are using, if that leader in Japan is a Christian, a Muslim, a Hindu. No. In the United Kingdom, the new prime minister, you can't tell if he's a Christian or a Muslim or an atheist. Yes, we know that President Donald Trump of the United States of America is a Christian. Okay, in Canada, yes, it is a Christian. You never can tell. So I gave you examples of this country that their leaders never affiliated themselves to any religious belief, faith. But these countries, their economy is booming. Their health sector is top notch. Their education is one of the favorite choices in the world. That is why those from the third world countries are rushing to Canada, rushing to United States, to UK, to Australia to continue their study. In Australia, in other countries of the world, these leaders, they cannot publicly tell you that they are either Christians or Muslim or atheists or Buddhists or Hindus or Jew. But the most important thing that we should be talking about, because it is 27 years of democracy and we don't have constant electricity. It is 27 years of democracy. We pay through our noses to get our cars filled. We line up. There's fuel scarcity. Workers are not being compensated duly. The health system is not something good to write home about. The education system, malpractices. The other day I saw a video, I think it was yesterday, which we'll discuss later on during our timetable by 11 a.m. that some student in the University of Benin, Uniben, displayed, because they call it, I think, Transgender Day in Uniben. Uniben is a prestigious higher institution, and the management of that institution will allow male students will allow a department or a faculty to organize a transgender day whereby the male student dress like female. Is that what learning is about? Should that be what? Yes, we understand rag day in school, where departmental day, where students can do, put up, activities throughout the week. We did it in school. But for, a prestigious higher institution like Uniben could allow a department or a faculty to organize a transgender day. Even the people where transgender started from, do you see their university students engage in such mundane activities? So it's because our leaders don't think straight. That is why we are still in this quagmire. Our leaders, we don't reason like people who are highly intellectual. Our leaders, both in the national, subnational, our leaders, political appointees, and those who are elected on the ballot, we must start to reason like first world countries. We must start to reason like leaders who think about the next 20 years. What will the children be doing in the next 20 years? How would my country look like? What would be the mode of technology for transportation in Japan? These are things that leaders in the first world countries are thinking. AI. These are things that our leaders ought to be brainstorming, not focusing on religion. I don't want to say things that is unethical on air, but what I want to say this morning is we need to stop thinking about mundane things. This is 2026. How far have we gone as a democratic nation, as a democratic country? Former governors, can they boast former governors of any state? Can he come out? How many past governors in Nigeria can say, while I was governor of this state, I have impacted lives? While I was governor of this state, these are the policies that I put in place that will ensure safety of lives and property. There is insecurity everywhere. And one governor, just because he's opportune to be a governor, just because he's elected as a governor of Nasarawa State, one governor will appear on television to say that one day a Christian, is that what you were elected to do? Is that governors in other countries in Africa, in other countries of the world, is that what is in their head? With due respect, it is high time we start thinking like intellectuals, because the elective post is a sacred post. Like I've always said, you are a governor, you are a president, not just because you are fortunate, not just because you have the best brain. It is an opportunity to deliver the dividends of democracy to your people. And if you've not been able to achieve it within 8 years or 4 years of a tenure, you're a failure. So it is high time that our leaders, I respect them so much, start initiating policies that can translate the fortune of this country. We have gold, we have crude oil, we have silver, we have lithium, we have mineral resources buried under the soil, and our people are impoverished. In the Niger Delta, the waters are contaminated with crude oil. In Niger State, in Katsina, in Benue, the mining hub in the north, people in that community are impoverished because there is no regulation. These are the things that our leaders must be thinking about. How can I make if a particular community in Zamfara, there is gold, lithium, or any other solid minerals in that community, how can I use that solid minerals to benefit the people from that community? Not you thinking of what to extract from the people that are mining there. Yes, tax, you collect tax from these miners, but how much have this tax that you've collected, how has it benefited the people in that community? Our leaders must begin to translate from these mundane thoughts, and start looking at what to do to move the next generation forward. What to do in Lagos State? What will Lagos State be like in the next 10, 15, 20 years? Yes, it is the economic hub of Nigeria, but how can businesses run smoothly in Lagos State? In Edo State, that place is the hub for palm oil production. There are companies, there are palm oil companies in Edo State. How can the governor utilize the natural resources in that state to benefit the people? I know that those palm oil companies in Edo State, they pay heavy tax to the state government. Is the state government utilizing that tax to the benefit of the people? So we must oh my God, we must start moving up while than circling, running around the circle. Development are not in circles. Development are trajectory, upward motion, not a circular motion. Development is not a circular motion. Development is not a backward motion, but it is an upward motion, upward and forward. So the governor has the right to say, yes, one day a Christian ticket will win. But the Nigerians don't bother. Yes, there might be some people who have one or two things or the other who are emotional about it. But like I said, like he did said, that it is not religion that matters. It is the competence of the people, that matters. In Dubai, in Qatar, in Kuwait. Qatar hosted the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Canada, Mexico, and United States of America hosted the 2026 World Cup. Then the next World Cup will be Portugal and Morocco, and one, I think, about two countries. You can see the spectacles in the World Cup. You can see the organization. Can an African country put such standard showpiece for the global community? Can an African country put together that standard of football tournament? Don't think about yourselves only, to our Nigerian leaders, because the more you think about yourselves, the more we begin to retrogress. And any country that retrogresses will be slaves to other countries that are making progress. If Nigeria is not developed, we will become slaves to other countries that are developing, that are moving forward. We will become beggarly nations that run to the IMF, nations that run to the World Bank and other financial lending institutions. We will run to them begging for money. Why? Because our leaders, they lack this ability to think things through. We must begin. Our leaders must begin to think like, world-class leaders. Our leaders are not world-class. Our leaders, they are not world-class leaders. I stand to say that anyway. Our leaders, they are not world-class leaders, because if we have world-class leaders in this country, Nigeria will not be borrowing money at every administration. Yes, it is good to borrow money. It is good. No country in this world that is not indebted. But, there will be a limit to which you can borrow. If we have world-class leaders in this country, we will not be begging IMF. will not be applying for loans. The president will not be writing to the Senate to approve this loan from the World Bank for the IMF to create employment opportunities. It's because we don't have world-class leaders. That is why we are still beggarly nation. That is why we are still retrogressing. That is why we are still poor. Over 100 million Nigerians are below the poverty line. It's because the way we think as leaders, those thoughts are not progressive thoughts. Those thoughts are not thoughts that can elevate the common man on the street. So, my parting word this morning is that whoever that will be elected in 2027 and other future elections, remember that this radio station is not an affiliation to any political party. We don't support any political candidate, but if they bring advert, we collect and do the advert for them. We are here for truth. We are here for justice. We are here for equity. We say things the way they are. So any leader, any future leaders in this country, any future leader in this country that want to be a local government chairman, a speaker of State House of Assembly, a clerk, a senator, a Senate president, Speaker of the House of Representatives, a governor, a ward councillor, a senator representing a particular senatorial district, a reps representing a particular federal constituency, whatever stage of leadership, elective post that you find yourself, that make sure that you begin to think like countries that are up there. So competence, so religion is not a guarantee for development. A person is a Muslim if he's voted into power, or a Christian if he's voted into power, does not guarantee whether the country will make progress or not. It is the competence, the ability to think about a problem and prefer solution to that problem. So that is the word I bring this morning. We want to thank our sponsor this morning, Liveback Pharmacy and Stores Limited, make marketers of Ogama, QS, soft gel, and anti-malaria, for sponsoring the breakfast show. You can watch this program on our various social media platforms: on X, Overt Radio Live; on Instagram, Overt News; on TikTok, overt.radio.lagos; and on YouTube, Overt Radio Live. You can also go to our news platform, overtnews.com, 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 to stay up to date about what is going on in the country and the rest of the world. All right, my time is, have delivered my part here. 10 o'clock, Bukola Ololafe will bring us the news update. Then after that, Ibuku will be here for relationship programs. So don't go anywhere. Listeners, thank you for